In July of '95, on board Fiona was myself, Walter from Bellport, and Evgeny, a Russian from Siberia. We sailed to Bermuda and then to the Caribbean to St. Martin to pick up rum for the trip. We left from Barbados to round Cabo Blanco here, but heavy weather in this region damaged the boat and we returned to Guyana, Trinidad and then St. Martin for repairs. We left St. Martin early in the new year, '96, with a new mainsail and sailed to Bonaire and the San Blas Islands and then through the Panama Canal in February of '96. We had a good passage to Galapagos and then a fairly slow and windless passage to the Marquesas. From there we went to the Tuamotus and in Tahiti, which was May of '96. Walter and I flew back to New York for a month and Evgeny returned to Russia. On our return we were joined by Jamie Guardia, a Spaniard. He sailed with us to the Cook Islands, Samoa, Tonga and Fiji. In our passage across the Tasman Sea to New Zealand we broke the boom. We were joined in New Zealand by my daughter Brenda, who came down to have a vacation with us, and then when she left we were joined by Mike DeMont, a South African who crossed the Tasman Sea again to Cairns, and from there Ginny Reining joined us and Mike flew away and we sailed along the Great Barrier Reef to the Torres Strait, to Darwin and then along the coast of Indonesia to Christmas Island. From there we had a windless trip across the equator to Thailand. Ginny left us there and Walter and I cruised in Thailand for a little while, and then we were joined by Robert Rawlinson, who sailed with us to Sri Lanka and the Maldives. We then crossed the Arabian Sea to Yemen in February of '97, and we had a rough passage up the Red Sea that blew out the jib. We had a new one shipped to Israel. Robert left us in Egypt and we were joined by Celia Wagstaff, who sailed with us to Cyprus and Turkey and to Malta and Tunisia and to Spain. In May of '97, Walter and I returned to New York for a month, and on our return we met an old friend of mine, Derek Demain, in Gibraltar, who sailed with us to the Canaries and across the Atlantic back to Bermuda, where we crossed our outward leg in August of '97. We were rejoined by Ginny Reining for the short leg to the States, and in September of '97 we returned to Long Island.
We are at the Bon Voyage party put on by Walt's father. See, Bon Voyage, Eric, Walter and Evgeny.
I better be careful I don't cut my finger. Here we go, you ready? I'll go straight through the cockpit.
Hey, didn't that happen on the America's Cup?
Yeah, it broke in half just here.
Showering at sea here.
Seawater, of course. The mission for today is to do the laundry and get the rum on board, and also some beer and soft drinks. And so that's what we did. 8 cases of rum here somewhere. Sailing, tacking up against wind and current, north of Brazil.
trying to get round Cabo Branco. We'll probably have to do this for another week or 10 days because we're making very slow progress. You can see what it's like. Winds about 20 to the southeast of a reef in the main. This is the scene that greeted us the morning after the headstay broke in the middle of the night, and we decided to go to São Luís in Brazil for repairs. Wild day, it's blowing about 40. We hold 2 for the night. You can hear it banging, so we're going to get to work. Downwind. You can see the headstay with the jib still rolled on it, lashed to the port stanchions there. We're anchored off the yacht club in São Luís there, with one of the native boats going by. A working sailboat. Sailboats are still used commercially in this large bay just south of the Amazon at São Luís.
Okay.
The tidal range was 20 feet at São Luís when we were there, and so this is what happens when you swing to the side of the channel and the tide goes out. As you can see, not much under the boat. There's the mud flats. Try and re-anchor in the middle of the channel, but the problem is as she swings, maybe we should use 2 anchors. This is Walter repairing the seam underway. We just spent 3.5 hours fixing seams. Hard beat this. Oh, we've got 600 miles more if we can make it without the boat falling to pieces. I don't know if it can. We've lost Victor at one stage, we lost the roller furling at one stage, we lost a halyard at one stage, and we lost a headstay, and now we've just fixed 3 seams, so God knows. When we blew out the mainsail, we decided we'd better go back to the Caribbean for repairs, serious repairs, but on the way we had some fun. There's a wow, that's a monster. Oh, market. Oh, the Starbucks market in Georgetown. There's the old clock tower on the market. It's stuck at that time ever since we came. This whole street is just lined with shops, little vendors' shops. This is a view of Bloody Bay, Tobago. That's Fiona. Get in the middle. This is a very nice stand of bamboo that I might in. I'll take a shot in a minute.
some of the bamboo here. There's an old man that lives in a hut there. Here comes Walter up the hill. It's a good hike up that hill. The valley of the Bloody Bay River. This is Chaguaramas Bay, Trinidad. We've been here 3 weeks. Got the sails repaired. Got parts sent down from the States, and we had a holding tank made. So we're installing that today, starting the process. It's going to be a couple of days to put it in. And you can see it's a really busy place here. Grown out of all proportion compared to a few years ago when Edith and I came down here in the mid-80s. It just didn't exist at all. But now it's a real yachty centre. Now we're going to have to glass some cleats in. Ah, there you go. Looks good.
More or less, that's how it goes.
Yeah, okay. Just on our stern is a Swedish North Sea trawler type converted to a yacht. This boat's called Our Confidence, registered in Gibraltar. And was actually the boat that carried all the supplies up for the St. Martin's rescue expedition after Hurricane Louise in September '95. The yacht. 2-cylinder diesel.
Notice their own car on deck.
December 8th, and we're back in St. Martin when we got in last night, and it's looking a bit moth-eaten. There's La Pirat, and you can see the roof is definitely missing pieces. In fact, that little teeny notch now is right over Dudley's apartment thing. It's just around here. Somebody got themselves a ship for the front, for the back garden ornament. That's Hurricane Louise. Do nothing else. Christmas Eve in St. Martin. And we're going to have a fireworks show tonight. January 8th, and we just fitted a new mainsail made by Gowan. You can see that. A few problems, took us from about 12 o'clock until now, 4ish, but we also no.
7 knots. Good progress.
Now, they still use sailboats at the Sound Blast, but I think it's dying. Most people have outboards on. Somebody paddling away. There's a sailboat. See if you got the gaff topsail. Okay. Well, muchas gracias. Nice shot of Fiona anchored in the Chichimi Keys, the Sound Blast Islands.
Here are a few scenes from Fiona's second transit of the Panama Canal.
Okay, Bill as line handlers and Pedro as pilot. There's looking back down towards Cristobal. This is the water flowing in. Very noisy, all the engines running. We are tied up to a tugboat. Guy here.
We're transiting the canal, the Panama Canal. Stern of us, you can see the tug we were just wrapped it up to. And the lock we just came out of. The captain smiling.
Coming up to Contractors Hill, digging this cut between this hill here, I mean through the middle of that hill, it made the contractors all go broke. I'm trying to get ahead of this ship there, Wind Saga. That's the monument they erected to Contractors Hill, all the work that was done here to make this cut.
I still think we got a chance. That is
The Cape Horn bearing down on us. And this is the intermediate lock or chamber in the mirror floors. And the next lock will take us down to the Pacific. It's happy hour on Valentine's Day, February 14th. Here we are sitting at the Balboa Yacht Club on a mooring. It's about half a mile away. There's the Pan American Highway Bridge. A visitor there on the bowsprit. It's our Pelican figurehead. That's Lonesome George. He's the last surviving gigantic tortoise from Isabella. That's what he is. It says when he dies, he's the last of his race, the last of the Mohicans. Okay, Walter, talk to it.
Well, here we are at the Charles Darwin Research Station. And I've forgotten my camera. I'll have to come back tomorrow.
On our way to Isla Plaza. On the Santa Fe. The sea lions on Palaza Island. I think those are blue-footed boobies. There's a sea iguana.
Marine iguana is a nestinarian, make a nest and lay approximately 5, 6 or 7 eggs. Always make around the cliffs or very close to the sea. The marine iguana is different from the land iguana because the marine iguana He's the only one in the world is have abilities for swimming and diving.
Digging a hole for itself. Not much into it. This one's digging its hole, but it's not moved. Hard work. That's a booby.
This is a masked booby.
This is waiting for a wind about 400 miles southwest of Galapagos. The 9th day out. Oops. We've had awful winds the whole time, nothing but a bit of a blow and then long calm periods like this one. You can see the sea is rolling us all over the place. And if we leave the sails up, they slap themselves to death. We've already replaced slides that have broken, things like that. You can see it. We move around pretty well. And the swell, we probably won't get a wind until tomorrow, so we're in for about 14 hours of this. This is why sails fall to pieces. We're doing about 3 knots. We have to sail because we want to get to the Marquesas, but the wind is not sufficient to stop the swell rolling the wind right out of the sails. And you can see what happens.
Finally, of course, the wind came and we began to move along in our 3,000-mile passage to the Marquesas from Galapagos.
See all the waterfalls there in the mountain. Fiona, it's called Fiona. The south, over the town of Atuna, the brooding hill there covered with cloud. And here, after a walk that took a little finding, there's the cemetery with the grave of Gauguin. That's it there. There you go, Paul Gauguin, 1903. And we've even got, presumably, one of his sculptors there.
Are you pushing the green button?
Yeah, there's the captain stitching the jib, which has been much traveled.
Well, that's the problem with sailing. Boat falls to pieces round your ears, right?
Yeah, words of wisdom.
Jim Meehan, eat your heart out. This is an old jib that Jim made, and it's already been around Cape Horn. And Jim would love me to buy another, but I'm too mean.
It's a familiar sight. The Bay of Virgins on Fatahiva, 3rd of April. A spectacular valley there. This is happy hour in Fatahiva. I can't see the sardines. Hold the sardines up, Evgeny. There we go. Sardines on baguettes. Warsaw Concerto playing, drinking cheap Caribbean rum with some sour fruit from Ivaroa. Ah, you got to feel sorry for all the wage slaves.
Today's Eric's birthday. There's a little cake that we baked last night.
Yeah.
In the middle of the night. Nice lemon cake. And a card from the Galapagos.
Yeah, and it says, Abbiamenta venga a deserter. We think it's...
All the children. Tremendous energy. On a night passage to Tahiti, we ran into a tremendous electrical thunderstorm. To the waterfront at Papeete. All the yachts here, mostly anyway, are from the Trade Winds Rally. And you can see Windsong and Club Med 2 back there, and today there's going to be a big ceremony to open up the new dock.
Narutoia I te purera. E hamanora I te mate o te atua. Naro e taio mai te tai prau I roto I ke taramo hanare piki horu e mahitu. Te nao mai e.
April 29th, and Eugenie's going to Moscow today. So you're on camera, Eugenie.
Oh, this is very interesting. Oh yes, very interesting. Especially his geography side. Amazing for me. After my cold place, this is no questions.
No questions about what?
No questions about beautiful.
Oh, no question about beautiful. Okay, well, have a good trip. All right, well, this is the last happy hour before we go back to New York. How much ice in your drink? Let me put some more in. And there is Morea in the sunset. Guardia, who just joined the boat yesterday. And we're at the Museum of Paul Gauguin. Now, these paintings are a man called Marie. Very nice seascapes. Really nice. Let me see if I can take some of the close-up. Working sketch. I think that's supposed to be Cape Horn. Is a scene familiar to Walter, his small boat being overwhelmed. This is running up to Moorea on the 12th. Coming up to Cook Bay, about a mile and a half ahead. The view from the Belvedere, you can see Cook Bay there, pan round, past the volcano, there's Opanuhu Bay, and there's the Valley High Mountain from the Belvedere. The reason I ran a few feet of video was there's a absolutely decrepit boat from California that sailed in and anchored, just when we did here. If he sailed that boat from California, he deserves a lot of credit.
And coming up on our left is a boat called St. Jude.
Steve!
We're going!
a single-hander. You're on video.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks for the hospitality.
Okay.
Steve sailed single-handed from Mexico to the Marquesas in 66 days.
Yeah.
This is June 17th. We're here at the careenage again, waiting to be hauled out so we can fix a patch on where we hit the coral and paint the bottom for the first time in about a year. There's the diver going down and attaching the slings.
Hey! Mom!
This is coming up on Bora Bora. I believe it's the 21st of June. That's a nice breeze. There's Bora.
This is November 2, Kilo Whiskey Juliet, Maritime Motors looking for a two-way via Hawaii or the coast to New York. Anybody reading me loud and clear, over?
This is the boat end of a ham radio contact to make a telephone call to Red Harting in Bellport.
286-9352 for Red, is that correct?
Absolutely correct, Uber.
Okay, stand by and I'll see if I can get it for you, okay?
Standing by. Amazing. I never thought I'd get through. Red's going to be pissed off. It's past 12 at night.
Eric, you're going to be in the Cook Islands tomorrow, is that Roger, over?
Yeah, that's a Roger. We'll be there tomorrow. And then we're going to go to Pango.
What is the parts for the stove? And I'm going to get the parts for the fuel pump. And when you get a chance next time, why you can give me a call or if you're someplace, why we'll get the other message to you. But everything is going okay here, over?
Okay, fine. Everything's good here. I'll call you by phone from Pango.
This is Omoka village in the island of Penryn, which is in the Cooks. And there, anchored off on the lee shore, is Fiona. And this was an emergency runway during the war, and there was a dramatic accident here when a plane crashed in the night. First it hit the water and lost its wheels, then the pilot managed to pull up, came around and landed again, and the plane was left here forever. So I'm going to take a picture of that in a minute. Here's the wreckage of the plane, though I think it's been moved from its original crash site. outhouse there. Seeing that concrete thing is stuck on the nose. And what happened to the cockpit? Yeah, they've built an oven at the far end. Yeah. Wing and wing. Fall out. Walter's going to tell you all about it here, and here's the anchorage.
We're going to Aggie Gray's this evening. Show starts in about 30 minutes. Among other things, apparently they walk on hot coals. I guess because they can. So it'll be interesting to see that. And Western Samoa is very nice, especially when you compare it to American Samoa.
This is the rugger match between Western Samoa and Tonga, an event they take very seriously indeed.
Yes, there is Samoa. You can see they've got the Red Cross people handed.
This is the haka, a relic of the pre-colonial tribal wars when they adopted belligerent stances before a battle with their enemies. On the way to Tonga, we crossed the international date line.
Post office and customs office in Nua Topu Tapu. And the town is called Haifo, right? So, thank you.
Freshwater pool in Nui Topu Tapu in the village of Haifo. Well, how about that?
As the sun sets on our last afternoon in Fiji at Suva, we begin to think about the trip to New Zealand, 1,000 miles. It'll be much colder when we get there. It's winter in New Zealand, and of course the passage has a bad reputation. So we'll have to see what kind of weather we get. Well, this is a bad day. We just broke the boom in half with a jibe. Give me a big cheery wave. You're not feeling very cheerful though.
No.
There's the boom. You can see that just about here it's kind of snapped. So we've got a lot of fixing to do. Ocean cruising, yeah. We're running on the jib, which also got torn in the melee there. Can't see it, but right now we're still heading for New Zealand. The wind's favourable, so we'll just keep going. Here's our loose-footed main, no boom, and blocks up the end of the old stone main. There's the main on the boom that we're going to try and tidy up today. Here's the lash to the combing, and we've taken a lot of water, so I'm not. This is sailing in the Tasman Sea, about a day out of New Zealand. We'll get there tomorrow. It's August 6th. So Pua, 7th of August. We got here in 7.5 days. Fiji to New Zealand, not bad at all, except on the dock here some of the damage that we need to get repaired. The boom was bent straight, more or less. There's the jib and the main.
This is going to take us to Kalakaua, we hope. Last minute checks. Smells good.
Nicely on the boil here. The Long Island Railroad was never like this. And here is our new boom. It's actually a second-hand boom. We had to make a special fitting to make the swivel work. So hopefully I'll do the job. This is the day after Brenda arrived in Auckland, and here we are, just a few feet from where the boat is tied up at the Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron. And what do you think about Auckland, Brenda?
Very nice, I love it.
So now we're going to go in and look at the America's Cup that they're getting all hopped up about. Just what object it is that we're looking at.
This is the America's Cup, won by New Zealand in 1995, and we're here visiting it because next time we see it, it will be in New York.
There it is, the old mug as it's called.
That's right.
This is Great Barrier Island, New Zealand. We're to spend the night behind this rock in the bay. Going back to the Bay of Islands, Cape Brett first and then the Bay of Islands. And at the wheel we've got our new crew member, Mike DeMont. Who comes from South Africa. Well, it's the 3rd of September 1996. We're waiting for a weather window to get to Cairns. And here we are, we're cruising the Bay of Islands, which is pretty good. There's Fiona, anchored in Urapuka Bay, on Urapuka Island. And Mike, who's our new crew member who signed up in Auckland, is a keen paraglider, and so he and Walter are climbing up the hill here. For another go. This time I think the wind has picked up by a knot or two, so it may fly a bit further. We'll see. Is
Just over there,
He's definitely flying a bit better this time. Very good. This is the 9th of September in the Tasman Sea on our way to Cairns. We left yesterday and promptly got clobbered. Forecast didn't turn out to be quite right. We're beaten up as usual. And Walter's trying to take a picture of us putting the lee rail in. Let me see if I can get a shot of him. You can see we're really doing that.
It's a little wet out here, so I'm sitting back here. Try and start the boat.
25 to 30. I better not take the camera on deck. Gimbal gives some idea of the heel. There's an albatross in the Tasman Sea. It's a young one. Let's see now, this is September 13th, and unfortunately early in the morning we found we'd got a big rip in the jib, which I have to admit is getting very old and tired. So there's the old sewing machine out. We've already stitched up one seam, and now we're trying to put a patch on the rip. I'm going to show you where it begins. Up there, see? And then we're just gluing this cloth on so that we can hold it while we're stitching. It goes all the way down to there. It's about 44 inches long. So that's the project, and we'll try and get a shot of us actually stitching at some stage, except it takes all three of us to get the thing run through and all the rest. And you can see we've got the sail carefully draped through the companionway. Well, this is stitching the sail. We get about, what, 15 minutes per inch I think here, but we think it's running well at the moment, so we're going to try and get this part on video. Are we ready?
Shoe down. Ready.
Shoe down. Go. We haven't broken the thread yet. Wow, look at that.
Best runs yet?
Should keep the TV going all the time. Okay, I'm going to reverse it. Oh, how about that? Alright, here they go.
Put the jib up.
Yeah. We just spent about 7 hours stitching it.
Okay, you're good.
And while we're doing all this the whole time, who should be steering the boat? Look, Victor the Vane there. Who in fact did a wonderful job and stayed on the run line, even without the jib. This is running inside the Great Barrier Reef, southeast trades blowing. Ginny steering, reef in the main. Croquet Island, which has a light in a channel used by big ships to follow the route inside the reef. Ginny enjoying herself. It's Morris Island. We're going to try and find the grave of the unknown diver. One trawler left. There's the trusty dinghy. So we're going to walk down here and look for the grave. Well, this is the grave, right, of the unknown diver.
Yes, so that grave of an unknown diver, and lots of people have added their little mementos. And I've been asked to come close to it because I have shoes on. There are lots of little stores. But they're bottles and small baby shoes. Shells for the most part, more bottles, and that's about it.
This is Margaret Bay, behind Cape Grenville. Here you see that the mainland here has got very flat, no hills now that we're getting up towards Cape York. And the character of the country has changed quite a lot. The guy here came over to talk to us, and he's got a turn of the century whaling lugger, a pearling lugger there, called Grafton. You can see there's almost no freeboard, but it draws 7.5 feet. The doghouse was added 20 years ago, I believe. One or two trawlers around. Another historic spot is that island there, called Sunday Island. Bligh landed there as he made his way through the Great Barrier Reef in the whaleboat from the Bounty, and this is where one of the crew challenged him, that he said he was a better man than he was, and Bligh immediately seized a cutlass and challenged him to a duel, which he turned down, so Bligh won on psychological points. So that's a historic spot there. Bligh came all the way through here, named Restoration Island and a few other places. This is the north end of Australia. We're just approaching the Albany Passage, which is right on the bow there. Staysail's in the way. There's the Albany Passage. We go through there and we're abeam of Cape York, and from then on we're in the Torres Strait.
Welcome to the Darwin Sailing Club. We can now go in and look for our mail.
Right. Shots of the Darwin Sailing Club. Certainly very quiet out here. We're about 715 miles from Christmas Island. If we don't get some wind, we're going to have to do an awful lot of paddling. Okay, Ginny, you're on film. You can say something for posterity.
I said I'm not going anywhere.
What about straight down? Land's only a couple of miles away.
I bet I can swim faster than the boat.
True. We'll attach a line to you. You can pull us to Christmas Island. Breeze. We're about 500 miles from Christmas Island and probably, I don't know, 50 or 60 miles off the Indonesian coast. And here comes an Indonesian fisherman to have a look at us, making a big racket. Let's hope all he wants to do is say hello. He's to be keen on coming close. This is Christmas Island, which was developed in the last century because of the vast phosphate deposits, the guano from birds, laid down over millions of years. That's the main loading point there. Those things are called cantilevers that load into big ships. They come up, peculiar red crabs that come down from the hills this time of the year. You can see that they're all over the place.
Of our equator crossing of yesterday in the Indian Ocean, there's a rumor going around that Neptune is going to appear. So we're waiting to see if he shall appear. Aha!
Hello! I'm looking for pollywogs. People who've never crossed the line before until today. Well, yesterday. Aha!
Oh no.
There's one.
Oh dear. Is
a
it
woman!
Father?
My God! You don't see many women crossing the line these days. They used to years ago. Okay, my dear, step over here.
Yes, Father.
There's a pollywog.
Now, there's a certain little ceremony required here, so that you're no longer a pollywog. Repeat after me, these toasts, and take a sip each time.
Yes, sir.
Are we ready?
Yes.
On Monday, the toast is our ships at sea.
On Monday, our ships at sea.
And Sunday, absent friends and those at sea. There you go.
Absent friends and those at sea.
Now you're getting close.
Cheers.
So we'll put on your crown here.
Well, Father
I must say
Neptune.
that you're a duly inducted polywog. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I've looked forward to this for a long time. I've been sent.
Thanksgiving, 1996. Jenny's been slaving over a hot stove for hours with canned turkey.
Okay, that's it.
Oh, that's it. Thanksgiving, 1996.
Thanks.
Okay, Ginny, you can say a few remarks about your epic journey across the equator.
I think it's difficult to say anything. It's been memorable, and anything I can look forward to now is actually taking a shower, or 2 or 3 or 4. But I'll miss you both very much, and I wish you all the best of luck.
Okay, thank you.
Everything goes well.
We'll miss you, of course.
Thank you.
Cruising north of Phuket here. Fantastic islands in this bay. Not much wind now, it's dropped. That's our rendezvous for tonight there, that island there. This is our anchorage on December 18th. About 20 feet of water. Nice scene there. North of Phuket. It's Wat Shalong, Watter's temple in Thai. Inside the Wat Shalong. We stick gold leaf on these things for good luck. Cost you a couple of dollars though. And here's Bob, who just joined the boat. Say something for the posterity, Bob.
I got blisters on my heels.
He's got blisters. Oh dear. We walked here. So we'll take the bus into Phuket. We just paid 50 rupees for him to make his snake. I don't know. And this lady's selling lace. That's a typical taxi with a motorbike engine there. So we go back to the port in.
Here we are on a typical ride.
Look scared.
Believe me, it's easy. Holy moly.
This is early morning in Kandy, the old imperial capital of Sri Lanka.
balcony of the hotel, overlooking the lake there. It's a golden pagoda somebody built not long ago, actually. If you can just make out in the distance there, the mountains which lie to the north. The birds are pretty busy. I'm told there are monkeys that come climbing down these trees. I've not seen any.
Unfortunately, the video camera failed in Sri Lanka, and so you're going to see a few thousand miles of slides. This is a dhow in the Maldive Islands. Nowadays, they mostly have diesels. Here's one of the beautiful atolls with a resort hotel on it that caters mostly to pale European and Japanese tourists. Walter caught a fish in the Indian Ocean, and there's Robert with him. This is typical transportation in Yemen, though they also have battered cars as well. I'm afraid the faithful old jib blew out in the Red Sea, and we got a new one shipped to Israel. This is the Dutch yacht Sensation, passing us in the Suez Canal. Here we are on a visit to the outskirts of Cairo. That's myself, Walter and Robert at Giza. This is Herod's Gate in Jerusalem, Israel. And here's the Wailing Wall in the same city. This is Masada, where the Zealots threw themselves off that cliff rather than be captured by the Romans about 2,000 years ago. I'm sitting in the beautifully preserved amphitheatre in Aspendos, Turkey, a remnant of the Roman colonization of the south Turkish coast. This is a nice temple on the south coast of Turkey at Sidi. This is the old town of Valletta in Malta. Robert and Celia, our new crew members, stand in front of the rather substantial yacht club at Malta. This is in the World War II war rooms underneath Valletta. Two dummies are plotting convoy routes, being helped by a third dummy. This is Bizerta in Tunisia. Here's the Casbah, the walled city of Bizerta. And here are the beautifully detailed Roman mosaics from the old Carthage, which is also in Tunisia.
And Celia's leaving us to go modelling swimsuits, but she won't put a swimsuit on for the camera.
The money's not good enough.
Oh well, that's all you're going to see. And this is Agridolce Marina, the Porto Deportivo. This is La Rabita in Spain. Seems a typical med type resort. This is coast of Spain, about 12 miles, 13 miles west of Motril. And it's just interesting to see the amount of development, how these people in those houses ever get to the house itself. I don't know. They have to be jackrabbits, I think. This is Fangirola in Spain. Yesterday I went down with a mask on, pull this off the prop, and unfortunately it's dislodged the nuts that hold the prop on, so today we're going to go down and try and get the nuts off and replace the cotter pin. So that's today's assignment. When I climb in, Walter will pass me some tools. I might say we borrowed the wetsuit. Okay, well I think the mission was successful.
So says the captain.
Brisk day in the Med. Headed for Marbella. Celia came with us for a ride and got disappointed by the weather. Right, give us a smile, Celia. Just broke the jib sheet, reeved a new one. This is the day we go to Gibraltar. Sailing from Soto Grande. For a change, we've got a nice day for sailing with the wind just forward of the beam, but we're not really beating up yet. This is the rock on a day that's gotten very rough. There's Europa Point. And we're getting beaten up. Very rough day it's turned out to be. Here's Fiona at Queensway Quay Marina. Nice place, and today the project is to climb up the rock and have a look at Gibraltar from the top. This is Europa Point, the southern end of the peninsula Gibraltar's on. Marco in the distance. And here's the wide Mediterranean opening up with a few ships anchored in the lee of Gib. And there you can see the steps around the cliff that I'll have to take up here to get back to the top. More of a path there. Very dangerous in places. Just loose scree. I'm going straight to the edge. And here's the edge of the Rock of Gibraltar. Here's a baby. Barbary ape. Amazing. I didn't think I'd see them. There they are. Buried to Tangiers. Which we're going to for a day. The Casbah in Tangiers. Lunch in the Casbah. We're in the carpet factory, the traditional.
Inside. You must be together. Thank you. Come up here. Up to 9 by 12. Come to the seat and girls. I need them not. Returning from Tangiers,
walking across the runway, which is between, just there's the border control, and there's the famous rock with Walter in front of it. We are at the marina in Gibraltar, and this is the day that Hillary flies home, having come down with Derek, and Derek's going to sail across to Bermuda. And, of course, we've got a westerly wind for our departure. What else? Running down to Tenerife. First time we've had wind out Gibraltar for a hell of a long time. With nothing but beats in the Med, so it's a real change. Sailing down the coast of Tenerife on the way to Bermuda. Good strong wind. There's El Tide over there. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Derek. Happy birthday to you.
Brilliant, brilliant. Thank you very much. Have a wish now?
Yeah.
Don't want to get too much spit on the cake. Oh, that's fine.
The 4 candles signify 39 years. See, almost 10. Yes, almost 10 years per candle.
Yes, fine.
And that's the age I am.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. I'll agree to that. We're reaching up to Bermuda, about 300 miles away. We'll be there in a couple of days. We're on search for elusive dolphins. Fortunately, somebody's altered the angle of the floor rather seriously. We haven't seen any dolphins either.
This is our arrival in Bermuda, the first day, and we decided to show off by stringing up some of the flags of the countries we've visited. So Walter's putting together a little chain of flags there. George's. We are here at the St George's Golf Club. Watching Derek play a ground.
Get in the hole. Get in the hole.
Wow.
It's in the hole.
I've even got it on film. Derek, I even took a video of it.
I'm not going to do it again.
How many strokes is that?
You birded it.
2?
Yeah.
Royal Bermuda Yacht Club, Hamilton, Bermuda. Queen Elizabeth. This is Shelley Bay. On the day that Derek is flying to Orlando. And with us we've got Debbie and Dell, Walter's sisters, and Derek. Yes. Somerset, Bermuda. And we have on board now somebody who clearly is a triumph of hope over experience. Ginny, who came back for another goal.
For more experience.
Right. So, what's it like to be in Bermuda, Ginny?
It's good. It's very good. It feels good to be back.
We just spent the night over at Mangrove Bay, our usual anchorage. And we're going to get a few groceries and shove off for Newport, Rhode Island. The boat's full of fuel and all of the goodies we need, rum. And sunset at Block Island. 2 years and 2 months roughly since we left.